Hello there, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Right, so it's about time we got on with another episode of the 39. Mine and Bumper's series about the 39 successfully prosecuted video nasties from the 80s. Well, we finally hit the cannibal films. So the first one out of what is kind of 4 cannibal films is Cannibal Apocalypse. So this is the Kino Lorber release, and those of you who know my setup are thinking, well, how did you play that, Trevor, because that's a region A? Well, I now have a multi-region player, so I'm going to be able to watch Cannibal Ferox with no problem. The Cannibal Holocaust is actually region free from Grindhouse releasing, but so yeah, let's get Bumper's notes up here. Let's borrow my wife's phone. Right. So I'll read Bumper's notes first, and then I'll give you my thoughts. So his overview. Cannibal Apocalypse splices the zombie genre with the Vietnam War, and the result is glorious. John Saxon is great, and as the grizzled war vet who doesn't know whether he has suffered PTSD or something more sinister. So, as you may know, if you've been following this series, we have a little set of questions. So the first one is, does it feel like watching a video nasty? Bumper says no. He says, I watched the Studio Canal release and the restoration work is unbelievable. It looked stunning, but putting myself into the shoes of someone in the 80s, it still seems more like a solid war horror movie than a video nasty. Yeah, so that was partly my problem with it not feeling like a video nasty to me. Is that the restoration that's been done on this, so this was originally a Studio Canal film, but like I said, Kino Lorber have put this one out. The picture is immaculate, and I think something that is very detrimental to the video nasty experience is watching a really gritty movie. And you know, with lots of dirt and scratches and faded colour and this and the other. So these lovely pristine restorations that we're getting are kind of spoiling that experience. So just to go back a bit over the Bumper's overview. So basically it starts off in Vietnam, and they put together some actual Vietnam footage with obviously the actors, and because of the restoration, the Vietnam footage sticks out a mile. But you can imagine it wouldn't have looked quite so different if everything was sort of looking a bit crusty. So, and John Saxon's character is a commanding officer, and he's leading a platoon of soldiers on a rescue mission to find 2 soldiers that we do see captured in a big pit in the ground. During this rescue attempt, there's use of a flamethrower, and one of the Vietnam natives, I mean, just because she's a native and she's a female doesn't mean to say she's not taking part in combating against the Americans. Anyway, she gets caught by the flamethrower, and I was very impressed, I have to say, for an 80s film to have used a female stunt woman on fire, running then she sort of falls to the ground, but she falls very close to this pit. Somehow the fire goes out, or I can't remember quite how the fire went out, but anyway, the 2 soldiers pull her in and immediately start chomping on her. So the cannibalism starts very quickly in the film, and that's sort of what leads on to John Saxon's character thinking, is he suffering from PTSD or something else, because he gets bitten as he's trying to help them out, the soldiers out. So it's kind of a different take on, I suppose, cannibalism, as it's portrayed as a bit of a viral thing in this movie. But so okay, let's go to the next question. Right. Should it be a video nasty is our second question. And it says, there is some strong gore, but it's never too nasty or exploitive. Tongues are ripped out, shotgun blasts, but put holes in people you can see through, and there is a good eye gouge scene. But to me, it was all there to push the narrative rather than gore for the sake of gore. So yeah, basically, this is a very good film. It's a very good story, and what you do see cannibalistically, you understand why they're like this, and you know, they even cut up someone to take provisions on their escape later in the film, and that's kind of interesting that that's well, you know, you go somewhere and you don't know how long you're going to be or where you're going to be, whether you're going to be able to get food, so they take some with them, and I was quite impressed with that. So what was that question? Should it be a video nasty? So for me, should it be a video nasty? No, I don't think it should be a video nasty. I think that, you know, they saw Cannibal Apocalypse, although it does have another title, I think, on IMDb. Cannibals in the Streets is the other name. But, because, yes, although it starts with Vietnam, they end up back in America, you know, and time has passed and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't think it should have been a video nasty, but you know, it is, and it was one of the prosecuted 39, so that's why it's on this list. So our third question, if you didn't already know, is should a modern horror fan check it out? And Bumper thinks yes. I think the movie would be enjoyable for both horror fans and fans of war movies. The focus more on the psychological after effects of war. Yes. So the whole sort of viral cannibal type scenario, all sorts of things happened during the Vietnam War with hallucinogenics and all that kind of stuff. So who knows what or why they ended up becoming cannibals. My theory was, my immediate thought at the beginning, when they pull the burnt woman down, is that they're starving. You know, they're starving, hungry, and they've kind of gone stir crazy, been in this pit, and I don't know what they've been fed. You know, may have been fed human meat and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, right, so Bumper has an overview, a summary at the end. Right, so overall, a very solid movie. Some stock footage at the beginning looks rough, and that's what I sort of hit on as well. And there are some weird plot points, such as the girl next door, whose behaviour is really strange throughout, and as it's an Italian movie, some of the dubbing is horrendous. But it does have a very original story, great effects, and some really good action sequences, including a flamethrower kill. There you go. Creepy ending too. Now he's given a score, but I'll tell you that in a minute. So yeah, the girl next door, she's a teen, she's exploring her sexuality, and she clearly fancies John Saxon's character. I didn't find it weird. You know, that sort of things clearly happened many a time in the past. Young women exploring their like I said, exploring their sexuality and growing up, and exploring their desires and all that kind of thing. Yeah, to me that didn't seem strange. But we start to get not a taste, an inkling as to what's happening to John Saxon's character when he, let's say, interacts in a certain way with this young girl. It's not, you know, it's not paedophilic. She's not too young, and there isn't really any sex involved or anything like that. So it's nothing. But you know, it relates to this plot of the story. Is basically what I'm getting at, and I'm trying not to spoil it for you because I'm hoping that you'd check the film out yourself if you haven't already. So yes, this release has a reversible sleeve. I'm sure you've seen this on many other channels. That's one of the other screens. And yeah, so that kind of, that hole in the body, not the two men munching, but the hole in the body does sort of happen. It's kind of weird. So there we go. So let's see who else is in it, shall we? Get my glasses on for this. Right, so John Saxon, Elizabeth Turner, John Morgan, which is actually, we've just found out, a pseudonym for this gentleman here. So that's John Saxon, obviously, and this gentleman here, he is an Italian, and I forget his Italian name. He is on IMDb. But yeah, so who else was there? John Morgan, Cindy Hamilton, Tony King, Wallace Wilkinson, and Ray Williams. Yeah, I think it was a very good film. I think the plot was really interesting, and so Bumper gave it 8 out of 10, which is a really good score. He hasn't been scoring quite as high as I have on some of these films. So I think I'd actually go 7 out of 10. My sort of criteria for out of 10 is 8 being I'd watch it any time, 7 being I really enjoyed it but I have to be in the mood for it. So yeah, I'll go 7 out of 10. But as I said, the picture quality on this release is outstanding. It is 1:6:6:1, so you will see fairly thick bars either side of your picture. If you're seeing skinny bars, then there's a setting on your TV that needs to be changed. You can always contact me and I'll help you with that. But yeah, you should see fairly thick bars, not as thick as when you got a 4:3 screen. So it's basically part way between a 4:3 picture and your full screen 178, so 1:6:6:1. So anyway, yeah, that's the series up and running again after the Christmas and New Year break. Happy New Year to any of you who've been watching, and this is the first video of mine that you've seen this year. This is actually, I suppose, my first sort of proper video after the break. And yes, the next one will be on Bumper's channel, Bumper's Movies. Hopefully you're subscribed to that already. Otherwise, I'll try and leave a link in the description below and you can go and give him a sub. And I mean, if you obviously checking out, so this is episode 10, if you're checking out the previous episodes, then they will alternate between our channels. I think the first one's on my channel, then Bumper's, then mine, and so on. So the next one will be Cannibal Apocalypse, and that will be on Bumper's channel. So that's the end of the video. Like I said, please like and subscribe to both of us, not just me. and we'll see you in the next episode. So take it easy.